Alright, this tutorial we're going to show you how to take shapes and add color and gradients to them with Adobe Illustrator. Alright, so you'll notice here's my row of rectangles that I just made in the last tutorial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select on a shape and I want to change the color. Because if you notice, it's a white rectangle with a black outline. Up here, you'll see these two buttons. The one on the left changes the shape body of the color, called the fill. And the one on the right changes the outline or stroke of the color. You could also change the thickness of that line here. Now notice if my shape isn't selected and I change something, it does not work. So the shape has to be selected. There's another tool I'm going to show you called the eyedrop tool. And this tool right here comes in handy because you can eyedrop an entire row of shapes off one subject and make them all the same. Now another way you can find your swatches is go under Window and look for swatches, and you can pick your swatches here, or you can do it up here. It's up to you. Another thing of swatches here we have called gradients. Gradients are blends of color. So if I change that to a gradient, you'll notice it's a blend of yellow to orange. Now these are great, but they only come in a couple colors. So the trick is you have to edit them yourself. Under Window, you go to Gradient, and you'll notice here you have orange and yellow. So what you can do is click and drag a color on top, and now you notice I have an orange and pink gradient. If I want to add colors, I simply click and drag into the box, and if I want to delete colors, I simply pull them down. I can adjust my colors here. That will change how the gradient looks. I can change the style from a radial to a linear. I could also use the gradient tool to click and drag to alter the appearance of the gradient. So if I wanted to go ahead and eyedrop this gradient, you'll notice that all the gradients are going in different directions, well, except for these here. What you can also do is have something selected with your gradient tool and click and drag across all the shapes. So now your gradient works from one shape all the way across the others. Another way you could add color under Window is going to Color. And what you could do here is you can play with these four sliders. They're labeled C, M, Y, K. C is cyan, magenta, yellow, black. And if you notice, when I start to drag these start to change color. Another thing you can do is eyedrop this little rainbow here, and notice how the sliders will automatically move as you click and drag throughout the rainbow. And lastly, what you can do is go under Window and swatch libraries, and there are a whole group of different libraries you could pick from that have these different colors. And if you want to save a color, you can click and drag it from one palette to another, or even from your toolbox to your swatches palette. So that is how you add color and gradients to your shapes.